Yesterday, we had a very crucial moment on this program when I spoke with former government minister, Queen's Counsel, KD Knight. I think it's the most poignant moment because, as I said after the interview, what KD Knight has disclosed to us, it contains a lot for us to unpack and for us to apply in many different ways to all of our situations, all of our families in this time of COVID-19. KD Knight was very clear in saying that his family, his immediate family, his wife, Dr. Pauline Knight, who'd given all of her adult years to public service, and his daughter, Stacy Knight Dennis, he said that they were not anti-vaxxers, meaning that they did not have any fundamental aversion to taking the COVID-19 vaccine. And he said, in fact, his wife, Pauline, made the appointment at which he attended with her. She also being in the line intending to take the vaccine. At the time we only had AstraZeneca. But at the time, which is earlier on when we had the first batches of AstraZeneca, there were some concerns about possible blood clots associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. And because of some underlying conditions that she has, she thought it wiser to get clearance from her doctor before taking the vaccine. He said as well that his daughter also has an undisclosed underlying condition, and so she too desired a word with her doctor before she could take the vaccine. Now, I've seen some people commenting on how long it is that it has taken them to get this word from their doctors, because I find that people are always in the habit of finding a way to lay blame somewhere. Even when a story is told, you have to blame whoever the victim is at the moment. Now, I can tell you that there's a situation I know of personally where somebody who is very close to me and who has a particular condition, and she'd been unwell for a number of months, had to be hospitalized as well. No COVID positive case, thank God. But after she got sufficiently well to go home, the question was asked of her treating doctor whether she could take the vaccine. AstraZeneca it was that was available. And the response that the doctor gave at the time is that, well, you know, one can't really know. And she required a little bit more. And for weeks, they were trying to get through to the doctor to get something more, especially since different brands of vaccines were coming in to the country and so forth. And I was told some weeks after of the difficulty in getting the doctor, because the doctor happens to work in the public health facility and is unbelievably busy. And I tried myself several times to reach the doctor and couldn't get through. And when I did send a WhatsApp message, it wasn't read until perhaps the next day or 2 days after. And then a response came. And this would be weeks, perhaps months after the initial question was asked. And when the answer came, some bit of assurance was given to me. And then I transmitted it to the individual. And in fact, in the time when I was waiting to hear from the treating doctor, I sent a generic question to several others who should know. And I got 3 responses back, and each of the 3 gave the similar response. It should be okay, because this is exactly the kind of condition, the exact individual who is going to need some protection from the COVID-19 vaccine. But for whatever reason, Dr. Pauline Knight needed that medical clearance, which she never had. So too Stacy. And as luck would have it, they contracted the virus. More crucially, here is a family, 3 generations, mother, daughter, grandchildren. And the father is in the house. The father, KD Knight, was fully vaccinated. The father, KD Knight, said though he was fully vaccinated because he appreciates science and he's not going to become a specialist in an area that he has no training, so he defers to the voices coming from the scientific world. He kept wearing his masks, even at home. And if we needed a clearer picture about what can happen and how vaccine and masks can save us, then we can look to the KD Knight story. Because in KD's house, 3 generations of people were attacked by the virus. He, being a member of the house, did not even contract the virus. It is not as if he caught it, but he never suffered many symptoms. He never caught it at all. So there cannot be a more high-profile story of the benefits of the vaccine. I am completely saddened by the loss of Pauline Knight, 54 years married to KD Knight. Those unions you celebrate. And by his account, he thinks she held on just long enough for the 54th year anniversary to pass, because she left the next day. She died. His daughter, still in the hospital, apart from the COVID symptoms that were down on her, she now has what he says is considered survivor's guilt, because she feels she brought the virus to her mother and to her 2 children, who have both recovered, and he said that they're ready for the vaccination. I really do hope that Stacy will be well. But if you want a lesson in how this thing works, look to the Knight model. Yeah? I pray KD's strength. I pray the strength of all of us out there. All of us who know somebody who is struggling. Yeah? all of us whose circumstances are substantially different from what took place with Pauline Knight and so forth, but who remain adamant that you're not taking this thing for whatever reason, or for all of us who continue to shop for a vaccine. We've been told, I mean, last evening we had a program on vaccines on TVJ. There's so many questions. And as much as people are obviously believing that Pfizer is a better vaccine, somehow they think so, maybe because the efficacy of the vaccine, meaning if you take the Pfizer, then there's probably a 93-95% chance that it's going to shield you from catching the virus. And the others are just 1 or 2 percentage points behind Pfizer. But any percentages right now, based on what the vaccines give you, any percentage you get would be better than what your body can afford you. So you need to bear that in mind. I'm very heartened with the uptick in the numbers for people going to take the vaccination. We have now gone over the 500,000 mark. So that means perhaps 1/5 or so of the population of Jamaica would now have at least a first jab. And that is something that we need to applaud. And we keep going out. This weekend with the lockdown coming up, the vaccination sites are going to be open. Let's do what we must. I'm going to try and have your questions answered because there are a lot of very interesting questions and some of them unique to you, which is why it's good to hear it from you in your words. And sometimes we can't have the space in just one program to do it, so we'll try and spread it out as much as possible. Yeah? But learn to read the lessons from the stories of others, most times without being too critical of any of the person in the story that you're hearing, but just apply it to your particular situation. My condolences to KD Knight, but you are demonstrating the strength that is needed to go through this point of crisis in your life.